just gestured it all over me. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. And we're going to talk about Omicrons today, folks. It's been a couple months since we've done that, and we've had some updates. We have Aphra in the game Sana, Zori, Omega got left out because who cares? And some people care, actually, as is the actual answer to that, in case you actually wanted the answer, which, I don't know, some people don't want the answer. Some people don't like what they hear, so they want something else. And that's just like a life philosophy thing that we don't have time to discuss. The thing we do have time to discuss is mounting the algorithm, folks. It is something that if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like, subscribe, or comment button. Now, if you just hit the comment button, nothing will actually happen. You actually have to type some sort of thing like algo or Xerath. You are devastatingly lovely, or beautiful, or ruggedly... No, I'm not rugged. I don't have any rugs at my house, so I don't know how I could be. That being said, it helps us mount the algorithm. It's literally a horse made up of the word algorithms. What more could you want, guys? It's fancy. Just embrace the algorithm and mount it, and let's move right on through. So here are the changes. We've added Aphra. She has got 3 crons. Omega's got 1. Like I said, I just missed it last time. Zori, Treya, Sana, and then the changes, you can see, just a list. It's a list, guys. You can read if you're literate, and if you're not literate, why am I rewarding you by reading out loud? Go learn how to read, folks, if you can. Now, I do have a marked up version here so that you guys can see the changes to it. If they are new, they're in green, or if they've moved up the rankings, they're in green. If they've moved down in the rankings, they're red. And you see the territory battles thing up top. That is no longer a thing. If you want the actual version of this that doesn't have all the markups, you can see I just transitioned it subtly. It was very subtle, folks. I was letting my stomach settle. You can see it says Territory Wars up top, and so I changed that. Someone in my Discord server actually said something. So if you want this, guys, if you want this to own for yourself, it's free. All you've got to do is go to the Discord server. It's found in the video description, the link to it. It's in a channel called Infographics toward the bottom of the Discord server, and just come and hang out with us anyways, guys. There's like over 5,000 people. We're growing pretty quick, and it's fun. There's mounting there. Actually, I don't know that I can back that up. But that being said, let's talk about Omicrons, folks, especially the new ones. I'll give an overview on how it all works here in the infographic section. Woo! Okay, so we're gonna operate off of this one that says territory battles in the middle. It should say territory wars, of course, like I pointed out before. And we're gonna zoom in here eventually. Here, maybe we'll turn my face off for just 1 second so you guys can see the whole thing. Keep in mind that the S is something that is done in a lot of rankings that maybe eventually I'll just make up my own rankings. I'll just use random letters just to annoy you guys. But right now, we've got S, which is like the elite version. Like it's better than an A. Like, it's satisfactory. No, it's pretty great. Those are like the best ones, the ones that most people should consider getting if that's a mode that they're interested in or they're struggling in something. The A is just going to be pretty good ones that most people should at least consider getting. At least, like the S one is like you should absolutely get it if you have the character. B is well, you guys understand. The but why though section is like, well, they're not like totally awful, but you have to have a specific use in mind for it. It's pretty important. And then, I don't know, Rose is in F- position, and she's actually, there's something that happened that shouldn't be an F-. This might be the last time you guys see her there, unfortunately, because I mean, if we were ranking the movies and the characters there, we could just keep her there forever, right? And that's what we're doing in this infographic. But eventually, she'll get boosted. Let's talk about it here. Let's do the zoomed in version here, and I'm gonna turn my face back on actually in just 1 minute. I warned you. There's my face. My whole freaking face. Alright guys, so Treya is new, and I know that we've gone through this whole up and down madness, this tidal wave of apprehension and frustration and whatever, because she got an Omicron, wonderful, killing all kinds of awesome stuff, and then you know, like even above the S tier, like it was like a must-have right now Omicron because it killed Lord Vader, and then the CG toned it down predictably, and you know, honestly, I think that's fine, but they toned it down as you can't use it against Galactic Legends anymore, at least Darkside Galactic Legends, and so she died, or she's not as good anymore, but she still boosts her Sith team by quite a bit. She still does a lot of really cool stuff, folks. So I would still highly recommend using her on, I mean, I think I reapplied it on both of my accounts. I think that her Omicron is still really, really strong. It's not going to counter Galactic Legends anymore, but, I mean, it might kill Jedi Master Luke, actually. I've seen a few videos of that happening. Otherwise, we have the Force Dyad with Ben Solo, the Malgus lead, Qui-Gon Jinn. He's lost a step, but man, he still gets me so many holds in GAC. I just can't fathom putting him away. Wampa, for so many accounts, especially, like, even on my main account, you can use Wampa to do all kinds of crazy stuff. He just myrtleizes people and wampanates them, and it's quite awesome. Even on my main account, on my alt, I get to use it a lot. On but I mean, those are pretty big accounts. If you extrapolate that, or extrapolate's not even the right word, guys. Don't mind me and my various word things, such as speaking, but. Wampa is just broadly applicable in 5v5, and especially in 3v3. Really, really strong character for an Omicron. And then it's Starkiller the Unique, probably the best Omicron bang for your buck in the game right now, if you have Starkiller and you tend to use it. Really, really good Omicron for him. Now, if I could actually grip this, we could grip it by the husk. It's not a matter of weight ratios, folks. Okay, so in the A group, nothing really has really changed, except we did I moved Hondo up here from B, because his Omicron is actually very good. It'll be interesting. We might, I don't think we're going to end up moving him to S at any point, because his 5v5 presence, once his current Datacron set is gone, we'll be able to actually gauge how effective he is, but I'm guessing he's not quite as effective as we currently see him at. So, you know, in 5s he just doesn't have as big of a presence. It's just how it works when, you know, 3v3 just kills a ton of teams, but 5v5, he needs to work on it. Aphra, however, now here's the weird thing about Aphra, folks, that I struggle with this, because Aphra, her lead Omicron is amazing, so good. All of her Omicrons are actually really good. She should be in the S tier. The problem is, and the reason that I have her ranked one lower here than the S, is because she's 5v5 only. Like, you only get to use her half the time. You get to use her for half the seasons. We're gonna have 12 seasons in 2023. We get to use 6. And that's great. I applied one. I applied her leadership, and maybe I'll apply more. But you only get that. You only get her advantages for half the time, and then if you go to 3v3 and you're like, oh, I don't get those anymore. They're like, no, you can apply 2 more, and it's like, but I already applied 3 to her. They're like, yeah, she's a 5 Omicron character, and then you're like, but Galactic Legends are 6 Zeta characters, and you're telling me that Aphra is a 5 Omicron character? It's just crazy. You're gonna angrily tell me to go contract Omicron is what you're gonna do. Now, Savage is staying steady in A. I think Man, with all the cool Sith splits out there right now, I was tempted to put him in A, but there's not really enough room anyways with all those floating heads. So A is pretty, I mean, in A, he's pretty good though. You know, all of these ones are like, well, they're pretty good. They're pretty strong. Like, you should probably, if you have these characters, eventually get them. You know, Chrysanthemum, if you have a good Jabba team, absolutely worth it if you like GAC. And then Zori Bliss, of course, she's new and she's pretty good. She's pretty good. She's actually much better than I had anticipated. I'm totally blown away by how good her team is, and that Omicron is really going to boost her even more. Absolutely worth A tier right now. Her whole team, she's just a turd polisher. She makes that really bad team a lot better. Now, the infographic that you guys have access to will have Akbar down to the next level, unfortunately, because Akbar is... he's been supplanted, folks. He used to go so well with Leia and Stormtrooper Han. You needed the Omicron, obviously, on Akbar, but then you didn't need it on Leia, and the team was still really good. Like in 3v3 and 5v5, like you could even just take a 3-man squad of Akbar, Han, and Leia and do some decent work in 5v5 for that matter. But now we have Sana, and Sana wants to have Stormtrooper Han at the very least, and that makes the Admiral Akbar Omicron really sad, to be honest. Otherwise, we have all of the second tier and third tier of the Conquest characters here, with Ben and Malgus and Starkiller. I think last time I actually had Ben and Starkiller swapped here. I got mixed up with their photos, so my bad on that one, folks. The Asajj one is really it can go well. I've been a little bit sad because she's not been as useful as I thought she would be. On my alt, she's more useful. I think the lower GPs she's gonna actually end up being pretty good. And then the after ones, man, they should be in the A level, but again, it's 5v5 only. It's horrible. Ugh. I'm gonna go throw up, guys. You can throw up with me if you want. Okay, so I left 000 here because it's not all the way bad. His Omicron, it's only 3v3, which is pretty bad. And then so okay, BT1 has this Omicron where it's like, if you kill someone, then he gets a bonus turn or something like that. It's like, oh, cool, good for you, I guess. But the problem is, you've already killed 1/3 of the team, and if you've got that level of momentum, like, it's not going to be that useful. It's 3v3. It's not like you're just magically going to do it in 5v5. Like 5v5, I'd say, yeah, sure. Like, ride that crazy, you know, the turn meter train or whatever. But you can only do that. It's just a worthless Omicron, guys. It's horrible. It's horrific. And besides, if he kills someone, then he gets a bonus turn anyways from BT1, or from 000. 000's Omicron, at least, so it has more verbiage saying that talks about 3v3 and getting a kill, but right before that, it also says that torture that he applies stays for 2 turns, which is the reason why you want to keep it. Now, Zori Bliss is the reason you would potentially want Rose here now with her Omicron, just because she gives her whole team more turn meter. I don't really think that team is worth 2 Omicrons, but that's something to think about if you want to have a resistance squad, or if you're farming Rey, etc. So, something to think about. Now let's talk about territory wars here. I know it says territory battles. Don't mind the words that say territory battles. I did put Grand Inquisitor up top here because, not because his functionality has changed that much, but we all have Relic 7 Grand Inquisitor, or it's something that we should quote unquote should be working on, right, for territory battles. And we're going to want him at Relic 8 here eventually too, to get that special mission, because it's probably the next step, and before you start working on more stars, once you get to a certain point, you start wanting to work on Grand Inquisitor and his team to Relic 8 once we get Riva. So I added him up here because the added functionality of having an entire team at Relic 7 is pretty good, and you can do a couple cool things. Like, you can take out a Juhani squad, or like a Starkiller squad if he has his special. Of course, this is his leadership, so that's kind of a a red herring or something, some kind of a herring, some kind of a fish, folks. It's a little bit fishy. But otherwise, these other 3 top ones are really good. I actually think it's kind of funny. It's 3 girls just destroying people. Mara Jade obviously does some really cool stuff. I actually see Juhani as probably the most, at this point, probably the most mandatory out of all of them. The Mara Jade's is also really, really good because she gets to go immediately. She gets her turn. She reduces the protection on people. She does a lot of cool stuff. Juhani just transforms your Star Killer team to actually be able to use it in territory battle or territory wars. Pretty cool stuff. Phasma still killing Lord Vader, like in multiple Galactic Legends, multiple other builds. Phasma is crazy good even without her Datacron, and Grand Inquisitor. He's able to kill a few things as well. Now, Sana has a new one, of course. It looks pretty good, and I guess the biggest question mark to me is it going to be like, for the top end guilds, is it going to be like the best squad, like the 8th best squad or something like that, if you put her Omicron on? And she does a lot of cool stuff. That team is a lot better than I had originally thought it was going to be, so we're gonna keep her on A for right now. I did move Scion of Django down 1 because yes, he still kills some builds of Lord Vader, and otherwise he's got a few uses, but they're not multitudinous, folks. They're not A level, or they're not S level. This is A. So we moved him down 1, and I don't know. Ahsoka Fulcrum, I could almost move her down 1 tier. The thing is, she is really strong for any guild that isn't like in the top levels. In the top levels of guilds, they're actively making all of their comps Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum proof. So, like, she's one of those characters I'm like, man, I have her gear 12. I think I'll just keep her there. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, and I didn't highlight him, dang it, is this Embo character. He is actually much more impressive than I had originally thought. The problem is, well, eventually we might actually end up putting him up to S. I don't know. We're going to wait until the Jabba Omicron Datacron goes away so we can gauge how effective Embo is currently, because there's a large faction of people saying that once the Jabba Datacron is gone, then Embo's use diminishes dramatically, and I guess we'll see how that goes. Right now, he's very impressive on that Jabba team. The Jabba's a menace in territory wars, guys. He just really, really is. Otherwise, Scion of Django got moved down 1 more. Everyone else stayed the same. Everyone's just like, territory wars is so weird because it's so static. You only get to use a small number of teams. Now, PvE, Kyle Katarn, he's the only one that. Here's the thing, territory battles is a weird situation right now, because if you have enough relic levels, usually if you have the full team, then you can usually just do it without using any kind of Omicron if you wanted to, though. The one that I hear consistently does really nicely is this Kyle Katarn. He does a lot of cool stuff. So I think that's the one I would choose to pursue. The problem is, if you get Kyle Katarns and you want Mon Mothma, like, you have to get the whole Mon Mothma team up to, Relic 5, Relic 6, Relic 7, where it's still useful. I guess you could theoretically just use them with other Jedi or whatever, but yeah, it's a really good one. I just question people's dedication to being able to put that many relic levels on the team. Now, Cassian's is pretty good because you already have him at relic 8, and the rest of his team is probably going to want to get to 8 eventually for some of those later missions, so probably really good there. Boosh, who knows how, she's raid, I think. Whatever, guys. What the hell ever. I did add Omega here. She's really good if you want to beat the cam mission automatically, kind of, but otherwise, yeah, she's okay. I've seen some people use her to good effect. I've actually seen all 3 of these in this level to be used to good effect. So I would recommend using those territory battle Omicrons. I'd recommend using them elsewhere, frankly. Now, Gamorrean Guard was at the very top, and he is way down here because here's the thing, guys. It's a good Omicron, but the Jabba already wins everything that he does on his team. Like, he already has He doesn't need an Omicron to destroy people. Maybe when we get to the tier 5 or whatever, those fights will be good, or tough, and we'll want Gamorrean Guard at Relic 9 to use his Territory War Omicron, or Territory Battle Omicron. Otherwise, it doesn't really move the needle. And then Karth, of course, is just in the dumpster because he's Karth. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Would you change anything? Would love to hear it. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.